ground, we hold it. Okay, so Justin comes in for just a knee slide pass. And I'm gonna block with the top here. Now, knee slide pass that way. Same thing. So look how, right now it's my shoulder that's kind of bracing, like the soft part of the back of my shoulder, and driving this in. But as I start building up, it's my hands. Okay, so from here I can roll. All right. So let's do this. You want to do your back? I'm coming through and look. He knee shields me. This is why we want a knee slide pass this way. So we can't do that. If I'm down with my head and this is inside position here, bracing, it's hard to knee shield. But sometimes we miss that in the transition. This happens during the pass. He comes down, connect with that, yes. So I'm gonna come up and look at passing the other way. And then he says inside shoulder roll. You just go side to side. Let's do the same person passing for one round, and then we'll do the same person, just switch bodies.
Yes, sir.
All right, 1, 2. We have 2 options that we'll look at, all right? A triangle or an arm drag. So option 1 is you just roll out and you get your guard back, right? It's kind of the drill, getting our guard back. So with this, we'll, as we roll inside shoulder, when I have a good base, once I get in this position when he passes, I'm gonna find my base from that all fours position here. Right, he's got, you know, kind of a who's got who type of effect. I was affecting his base by here, right? We'll get it that way. But that, like, he was pushing in because I was pushing back in the hip. So we get to playing this push-pull game. There's a lot of techniques in it, right? So he passes. I'm finding my base here. And as I roll out, okay, for defense, I'm thinking about strikes with this hand, right? So I just kind of am following that bicep, tricep, forearm with my elbow here. And this foot is on his hip, okay? And the more he tries to drive into me, the more I push away with that foot on the hip and my shoulders walk. Then I can grab and lock. Okay, and we'll go a couple more details there. All right, so here, finding my base, I roll out here. Okay, if he's striking, I'm blocking here. Okay, he, you know, started adding levels of stress here. Look, if he's not driving into me a bunch, I'm gonna need to stop him from posturing up by grabbing the head. Okay, and then this is just like a controlling the range, right? I'm not gonna stop them from coming into you, but I can block. Like I can block here. That's what this leg's doing. So I've got this, and at the moment I'm ready, I reach up. Okay? I may have to shoulder walk. I reach up, I lock, and then I go back to the head, and then I lightly raise. Okay? So let's see the whole sequence with you. So take a second to find your base. So again, somebody rushed that knee slide pass here. Right? I'm trying to, like, okay, well, this is in the way. Right? So he rolls out while I'm trying to assess. Boom. Foot on that hip again. Okay? Grab that head. It's just to add a detail.
Yeah.
Right? One I did not teach for a long time, and I'm just teaching it because like that's the way we worked on it when I was in California last, in Richard Wrestling. So, you know, it's and think about it as like, what are some of the defensive opportunities? Somebody might posture up, right? They might drive into you. I do both. Kind of my A and B on them, right? If you miss the triangle, because organically one time you're gonna miss it, but organically one arm in, one arm out happens on this sequence. Okay, so do one more time for me, please. So as I'm here and I roll out and there's no triangle, you're gonna be a drag. As I sit up, as I just did, I kind of pendulum my leg, right? I pull here, right? Then I can start taking the back, start extracting this leg into a hook, setting seat belts, breaking it down to rear mount. Okay? So you can just roll out an arm drag, right? That is a very good option. You do one of those real quick. So we have triangle or arm drag. So A's and B's. Here. Yes, he rolls out. And I've got both arms in right here. Boom, yes. And as he's sitting up, he just did that to just climb the ladder. Right? So, let's work on that. 1, 2. Like, the way this was taught to me was two independent things actually. The stop like is a guard retention, like total separate time and place, same person. And then this like using the like a knee shield from Turtle, right? Like just hop some more. So I got all this, right? And he would show the inside shoulder roll to triangle, arm bar, omoplata, arm drag. It's kind of all there because those techniques are always all there, right? So let's look at, we can start like if anybody ever gets you in Turtle, will you put me in Turtle? And they're beside you as people do. You can start taking control of that position by throwing that in, right? And I can walk on my hands and drive back into him if he's trying to back away. Like, look, you can't really see how I'm pressing, kind of can, into the mat right there, but those are just kind of like wedges and outriggers. I'll adjust them as need be, okay? Now, if he pushes into me, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, you can grab the belt, but the belt moves and sometimes it falls off and it's not on when you wanna grab it, and that sucks. So if you grab the person, it's easier. Pull him up over the top of me. It's like a reverse scissor sweep. Right. So if we'll just, you can do this from the knee slide again, or just start in Turtle, throw this in, right? And again, this is, we'll start getting into some dynamics of when they push and pull, because if you're finding base, that's what they're gonna do in trying to take your back, okay? So if I push, he's gonna reach back and grab my lat. You could even do a whizzer on this, I will say, right? But that's great, good connection. Now, slide this leg through and load me over your hips on your shin. Boom. Okay, so if you were doing it with the pass, like coming up and just to load, like I'm here, right? So you get some dynamic to load them over the top of your hips. So done with the pass, you don't have to hold that static turtle position. But like while you're figuring it out, starting that turtle, okay, I'm rocking back and forth. Time this technique when I rock forth, right? When you come forward. Does that make sense? All right, 1, 2. Okay, so let's go over a smaller detail on Because look, you can sit through with the leg going through. It's not a requisite for every situation. Okay, so what I mean by that is to start in the turtle. So look at this. This is the leg I'm talking about. So if he's pushing into me, look how like that didn't sit in front of me. Okay? So sometimes it'll hook at the leg. It's just kind of dependent, right? Now, that doesn't mean that this is wrong, but like I feel real bunched up right now, right? So, you know, this is just kind of a different sort of a game that I would be playing, right? If I'm sitting through like that. And look, that's not to say, the thing is I do sit through like that, right? And look, triangle, omoplata, arm lock, arm bar, all that, okay? So you can go into this fundamentals offense, and this is just kind of like, again, the guy I learned it from, it's like a highly adapted, specialized, lightweight grappler. Like he's like 135 pounds, right? So compact, small, and this was his game. So Hobson.
Oh, Hobson.
But let's look at the push and pull of things, okay? So if he's pushing into me, I can go with that and hit the like that reverse scissors sweep, right? So, but people in this spot, turtle, they try and insert a hook and pull you to take your back, right? Go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. Feels weird with my leg in there, like that. Right? Do it without my leg. Kind of complete the motion. Right? Yeah. Okay. And look, there's all kinds of ways you can get your foot in there if they're tight, blah blah. But it's that near side pull over back take. It's the most common one you're gonna see, in my opinion, from turtle. Okay, so if I have this leg hook and I'm connected with it, meaning, like, you know, I'm driving back into it. Oh, sorry. I don't want you to get multiple attacker scenarios. Spin hook kick about to happen.
Yes, sir.
When he pulls me over to try and take my back, okay. Now, get your leg hook in. Right? I come here and boom. You got like a reverse knee on belly and just slide that. Yeah, boom. You got like a reverse catcher, just slide that. Right? But you go like hook. So when they pull to try and take your back, you
just kind of slip them out.
Yeah. It's timing. You have the timing on that, right? So let's get with, so if they push into you, reverse scissor sweep. If they pull you to take your back, we're just gonna basically walk on our hands and go the direction they're pulling. You're gonna get side control off that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Let's do 1, 2. Let's do one more technique here. Look, so, and I would say, he says parts of this in other places. I've heard him talk about the same thing, but Chris Hatter has a great way of talking about how, he's like, have you ever wondered how am I going to develop my game, or how did somebody come up with all this stuff, or whatever? How did Hobson Moore or Hickson Gracie or whoever develop these ideas? I wonder that all the time. I'm just like, everybody that trains with Hickson is like, well, where'd you come up with that? Like, wow. Like everybody says the same thing. It's almost stereotypical, right? But when we do what we do, and then we start playing other games, like I've been playing a lot with escaping side control. And I'm working on a specific set of things with my outside arm, and sometimes I don't win that game. I get crushed. And I can't do techniques or whatever. Because the people we train with all the time, they're going to be the ones that start figuring it out first, right? So that being said, this technique is like something I use that I just discovered, right? Like I'm definitely not the first person to do it. It's just like this scissor sweep we just did, but it's from getting out of side control. And it has this sort of momentum, this build up to fall back down aspect, right? So, right, like sometimes you just cannot get the position you want. So, sometimes I want my arm to be in here. That's what we've been working on recently. I teach that from my countering the guard pass and getting here. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes I just cannot get this underhook game rolling, right? Like he's just not giving me the things I want. He's not making mistakes. He might even be squashing. Okay, so when that happens, I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna come up. Okay? It would be the same idea. I'm not gonna get too complicated with this because I don't use it in any way personally except the way I'm about to show. But if he were to pull me, I could just take his back. Or I go to, like he's gonna take my back like earlier, I could just go. Okay? But what usually happens when you come in like this is they push back into you. And it's just like a Peterson style technique. So anytime that they're maybe attacking for a darce, right? But when this underhook is getting killed for whatever reason, start going there and step over and then come up and then go back down. Yeah. Boom. Got it. Right? And then get me one more time. Right? So like I got like some positioning, but I couldn't get any connection with this underhook. That's where I've been playing this the most. Right? So I come inside here. Right? Kind of, you could go into the leg hook. Right? That's not how I've really been doing it. Whatever. Okay? So, then sometimes I just get trapped here. I miss my opportunity to underhook. I do this as a defense when people are passing. Right? Because I time it, and then if I can make space, I can do something. Right? So that's kind of the interplay here. As I build up here, right? People are just very apt to push. There we go. Makes sense. Let's work on that one. You're gonna adapt that. That's a technique that I adapted based off of a lot of this other stuff we're doing. When it either doesn't work for me, or it's like just real nearby, or it's like it's the same technique, but a different situation, a different positional, right? So like, but there I go belly down into kind of a turtle, the leg hook. We went belly down last class working the underhook with side control when people headlock us, or when we take the back. Right? So it's just kind of a adaptation within your game. That's like Howder talks about that on my podcast. Go listen to it. It's really insightful, but it makes you think about it, right? Like when we have rule sets, which really every martial art from the last 100 years is a actual sport rule set. Really, right? Unless you're in the military. Using it for other purposes, like martial purposes, right? So, it adapts to the environment that it exists in. We exist in this environment where we're all working on the underhook escape from side control, and we kind of know it's coming, and maybe shut it down sometimes, so we adapt. And we come up with something outside of that. Break out of that. Well, if the underhook doesn't work, I don't have it. It's like, no, you actually have all this other stuff. Well, like what? Like this thing. Oh, okay. Well, then if they push and pull, you have this thing and that thing. And it just splits out like a mind map of like that stuff we did in the main part of the class, the leg. Right? A's and B's. Any questions? Let's roll. 1, 2.